The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
I asked her to give me one chance. She tell me to buy her a drink. That's when she screamed at the DJ. Give me rain, that sweet old make it straight. Come on now. Give me rain, that sweet old make it straight. Because all her friends start whining down. They whining down to the ground. I tell them to move away. That's when she screamed at the DJ. Just give me rain, that sweet old make it straight. What you say? Give me rain, that sweet old make it straight. Cause every man she sees, she won't whine on me.
Good morning this morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. Producer, before you make a move, I want you to play that song, that other song by Ruben G for me. What y'all heard just now is Give Me the Rake. Give Me Rake by Ruben G. New song release. But y'all saw the headlines this morning? Ruben G already was prepared for this moment. Producer, play the second song by Ruben G for me, please. As the guests come in.
Hey, watch it. Ruben G, watch that barracuda, boy. I know, boy, hey, you been on trip. I'm glad you're doing good. Watch it. Stevie has tell you that.
Let me tell you this story. I was hanging out with some friends. I had the piece of barracuda. I didn't want the fun to end. Man, the fish was fried so dry. I never saw no flies. The sweetest fish in the sea. I be buckling to my knees. I get hit. They put me on drip. Then I start to itch. And it make me shh. It was the intruder. I eat the old barracuda. The sweetest fish in the sea. Send me straight down to A&E. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, the old barracuda. Sweet fish, you know. Lord, do you in? Oh, man. Let me tell you what happened. I went to this restaurant. I saw a sign on the wall. Say, eat at your own risk. If you think you're strong and tall. My knees start to get weak. My body started to itch.
Thank you, producer. Thank you, producer. Welcome to On the Clock with Erin, Greene on this Thursday, the 19th of March, 2026. Now, that second song by Ruben G, right? That's the song for today. You all see the headline, right? I want you all to know that I started wearing water shoes, like tennis in the water, from about the age of 13, 14. That's when I really got a sense of what the ocean is. And I say, you know what? When you're in other people's home, you got to be prepared to leave at a moment's notice. That's why I started wearing shoes to go in the water. It's a Bahamian tradition. But then I saw this headline this morning. Cocaine and caffeine found in reef sharks off Eleuthera. Study finds. See, barracuda ain't the only thing you got to be worried about in the water. Now, listen, I got some studio, right? And one of the guests looking at me like, Miss, what you talking about? See, we in the Bahamas, I think, have this thing called more dollars than cents, right? We have lost the sense of who we are, whose we are, where we're from, right? How we speak. Because somehow money drowns everything out. Got more dollars than cents. But if you pay attention to the things that are real, right? Like, you know what's real? Land is real. You know how I know land is real? Because Malcolm X was Malcolm Xing and doing everything they let him do until he started talking about land. Until he joined what was at the time called the Aboriginal movement in America. Right, that's when the program got shut down. Land is the only real thing. Geography is the only real thing, right? And if you all have not noticed, the culture, the inherent spirit of these islands they have made their way into our bodies because we are subsistence people. We go work just as hard as we think we need to. We understand that things come and go in a hurricane zone. So the things that y'all put value in may not be the things that we put value in because we know what will last and what will not last, right? But so in 2026, if you were confused about all the conversations happening around the interdiction of drugs, drug trafficking, and drug smuggling, perhaps it's important for you to know where you live and what the geography calls up, right? So if you were shocked that they found cocaine in the sharks, it's time for you to sit down and watch some ZNS. You need a lesson about where you are, whose you are, right? And what is done in these islands. Now, the thing I'm shocked about is the caffeine. I didn't know sharks needed a boost. That's why I scared. Don't worry about it. It's the caffeine. First of all, what y'all sharks be doing all day and night that you need caffeine? Right? But it's a very interesting story. Everybody should read it. You need to read it with your kids so they could understand where we are and what the time is we're in right now. Another quick note before we get going, because I got a studio full of guests. In recent time, we've had lots of conversation about the new hospital, quotation marks. The specialty clinic for maternity, neonatal care, women and girls, right? There's a lot of opposition. And I understand the opposition is reasonable. Why? Because nobody has actually presented us with a rationale, a policy statement. Why is it that we're prioritizing neonatal care, right, over the other services that we could see service provision is degraded, right, in other facilities? Well, in yesterday's Tribune, there's the article, PAHO Report flags high maternal mortality rates. So if you're concerned, like if you're thinking, well, why this neonatal specialty clinic? Read this article. PAHO report flags high maternal mortality rates. Then grab today's Tribune. After you grab the Guardian first. It just feel better in your hand, I just say it. Grab the Tribune, front page story, very sad. Mom, I just want justice for my son. Right? 8 years after Joshua's death, PMH negligence case still before the court. And so if you are sitting here thinking, well, why? What's the rationale? Check out those two articles and you can begin to get a sense of the policy decision. And now you're armed with more language so you could approach your MP with more specific questions and say, hey, because you may reasonably say, hey, I get it, I see it. But how do we balance this? Because the kidney, the renal care needs are equally important. The diabetic care needs, right? But at least you now have language to help you form stronger questions, right, for the policymakers. Okay, now that we're done with all of that raking and scraping in, we got some raking in and scraping in the studio today.
The
right?
real one.
Oh boy, it started already. So we're going to start the show. Of course, I've got Diana Hamilton and Cloyd Daxon, local rake and scrape experts, in studio with me. They brought guests. I can let the guests introduce themselves in a moment. But also joining us, right, as a part of the show, because we're going to have a discussion this morning, is Mr. Trevor Davis from Alpha Sounds. Now, I was doing my homework last night because every time I see Minister Glennis Hannah Martin, she's making me want to do my homework, right, make sure I up on things. I saw these articles, BHTA looking for robust spring break season, right? That's the Bahamas Hotel, what in training? Allies. Tourism Allies. BOLEG, $15 million National Arts Center renovation bill, not cost effective. Another article, National Export Strategy in Consultation, go ahead, right? This one is really interesting. It says, we're speaking with Senator Barry Griffin, right? And he says the process, right, of building a national export strategy will involve the private sector and creative industries, among others. And that's where we zeroing in on, right? The creative industries are being considered an export product, right? Something we can export. And I say, well, look at the conversation we was going to have anyway, because I have Mr. Trevor Davis here to talk to us about how to create an experience with music, right? And we could broaden it up to how can we make the Bahamian musical experience a tourism product? See, the ministers say, look, it costs too much money to do the thing properly, to give the creatives the space they need. So I'm thinking, well, how are we going to raise that money? How are we going to raise the money to ensure that we have the facilities to get through that? I see the spring break people here, the spring break people, this is a high traffic time. How are we creatives going to help the Ministry of Tourism expand the offerings to spring breakers, right? I had this wonderful experience on Sunday when I got caught up in the Mothering Sunday processional in town and everything was blocked off. I had a ball, but you know what I was doing? I was telling tourists, be careful if they could snatch you up and you end up in church with them. You come to the Bahamas, you didn't know you was going to have a good time, right? And I've been playing with this idea from before I saw Chester Cooper, Minister of Tourism, in the paper last week touting religious tourism. In fact, I had the idea for that show that day. And my idea is this. We're going to have the largest church service in the world every Sunday in Nassau Town. We could turn Nassau Town into the largest church service, right? And we could do it Bahamian style. We're going to explore the relationship between Junkanoo and the church. We're going to explore the relationship between Rake and Scrape and the church. Because that one right there, those two right there, right? As me, as an African, I sitting here wondering, well, how Africa and Christianity blend up just like this? But it's in the blending that we examine. I don't, you know, the Europeans, so what? I'm more interested in the experiences created and enjoyed by people blending what they had in front of them. So, good morning, Mr. Davis. You swing the mic.
Good morning to you, and by extension, good morning to the whole Bahamas.
Yes, sir.
First time I think I'm having a privilege to saying good morning to the lovely people of the Bahamas for the New Year, so let me just take advantage of that. And to all the lovely guests in the studio,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so Mr. Trevor Davis is the founder of, or co-founder of Alpha Sounds. Alpha Sounds creates musical experiences, right? Our eyes are old head already. I enjoying my Grammy days. Concerts, I get excited. I have what they call a fear of missing out, FOMO. But when I see an Alpha Sounds production, right, it ain't just one artist or two artists. They create I want to say like a cabaret. Like you have a collective of artists. You're building an experience for an evening event, right? An evening of things. And so that's why I wanted to bring you in on this conversation. The first thing I want to ask you is, how do you identify the things that people go resonate around?
Just by watching and listening. And so we have, as humans, we have an appetite. Mm-hmm. We have appetite for music, we have appetite for food, and more importantly, we have an appetite for culture. And let me just tap the culture side of it, because you tap into people visiting our shores. Mm-hmm. They visiting us because they want part of our culture. Mm-hmm. We travel around the world because we want to sample other person's culture. Mm-hmm. And for me, I always wanted to find a way to bring cultures together and cultures to blend with our Bahamian culture. Now, as Bahamians, you know, we used to be a little selfish and keep everything to ourselves. But I feel different, I think a little different, and maybe that's the reason why after 30 years you could still come to an Alpha Sound event and have a good time. Because I believe in blending these cultures. What do I mean by that?
Yeah, right.
If somebody sings reggae, put them on a stage with a Bahamian band that's playing with them or for them, vice versa, whether it's rap, whether it's R&B, make sure that we have our Bahamians on stage at the same time so they could get a little bit of our culture while we enjoy their culture. And so I think that's the reason why I am still going today. And I do think now, the era that we're in, it's time for us as Bahamians to really take our culture to the world. I think as Bahamians, other than the 60s and the 70s, you know, and no pun to nobody, but we've been kind of lacks of letting people know what it is that we have and how to get it out there to them.
Diana, Cloyd, and the other guests, you'll join in this part. Let's remind people of what the Bahamas was like musically from the 40s, like you say, to the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Where from Gombe, and I guess the height of Gombe, artists from all around the world were coming here to make music,
Yes.
right?
And,
To be influenced by the vibe here.
and for the most part, a lot of persons up to this day probably don't realize that likes of Sade and Bob Marley and so much international artists that come to the shores of the Bahamas to record. Compass Point Recording Studio is full of history with international artists coming to the Bahamas to record. But what I would like to before you even ask me the question, what I would like to say to our young Bahamian artisans, because I know you could get to there, networking, if you will. What do I mean by that? We have a thing where
Speak a little louder.
we have a thing where, as Bahamians, we try to be inclusive and no, you have to network. And when I say network, I mean to collab with other international artists. Take your music to the rest of the Caribbean.
Let me
Take
send
your
a shout
music
out.
around the world.
Let me send a shout out to an artist named Big On, right? DeVito Bodie, Money on the Ground. The Coconut Man, Money on the Ground, right? Also, Daddy. And in fact, I sure Big On wrote his Daddy before Damian Marley wrote his Daddy, and I feel like Damian Marley heard Big On Daddy and say, hey, I love this, let me do it again, right? But Big On went to Canada. And if you look at Big On's catalog of work, you just see from reggae to, I wouldn't call it rake and scrape, but it's just a Bahamian sound, right? Like you say, networking, taking your music abroad. One of the most exciting modern day moments for Bahamian music is when Marshall Montano took the stage at Carnival Music Makers concert, right? Because he said, hey, I come to play your songs. I am excited about this. This is what I come here to do. And so you could see the people are desperate for this type of collaboration globally.
So I was a part of that experience. Obviously, I would have been a part of a carnival at that time. And that was the moment, that was the defining moment right there for Bahamian artists. That was a door opening experience. That was here it is. You have the #1 Caribbean artist in soca saying, I am in the Bahamas. I play in Mama the One, Rake and Scraping. I play in Mara the Garland. What that meant for us as Bahamians, that means our sound at that particular time and moment was able and strong enough to go on any stage in the world. That means Marshall Montano was comfortable of going anywhere in the world and singing that song. That was the time we were supposed to connect as artists. That was the time we were supposed to start connecting as engineers.
Yeah.
And we dropped the ball. And what happened right after that? You start seeing the other small pick up, the St. Lucius, the Grenades.
The same model.
The same model. And so it is imperative. And again, that's why I go to, if you look at any one of Alpha Sound events from inception, it's always a collab with Bahamian. You can't throw that one at me and say no Bahamian artists because they're always there. Now it's up to them. I put you in the space. Now it's up to you to make the connections.
And make the magic.
And make the magic happen after that.
All right.
And those who make the magic happen, they're the ones who get to enjoy the benefits of the international funds.
Yeah.
The local funds is different from the international funds now.
Without a doubt.
And so when we get ready, we could talk about that. And it's a big difference. It's different of catching the bus and driving a Mercedes.
Yeah. It's a big difference. It's a big difference.
Yeah.
And we're not that far away from it, right?
It's attainable.
And I see tourism as like a bridge, right? Because if we are bringing 10 million cruise passengers into this country every year, then that's an opportunity for 10 million people to hear your music, right?
Exactly.
We just need to curate the spaces appropriately, right? So that music, Bahamian music becomes a part of the experience, right? And curate a space, a business space culturally where businesses don't see this Bahamian music experience as taken away from their experience, right? And so I know of, because I passed through them, there are businesses who engage tons of tourists. Right now is spring break time. But they play in music they think the tourists want to hear, which is mainstream American music. So the idea of playing Bahamian music for some of them is like, no, you eating away at my model. And I am here to say today that the Bahamas can overtake Jamaica as the capital of covers, right? Because what Jamaica did in the late 70s, 80s, and 90s with the rhythm and covering every popular Global North song and turn it into a reggae hit, we could do the same thing with Wake and Scrape. Why? Because Jay Mitchell did it with Islands in the Stream. Who would have thought that anybody could make a stronger version than Dolly Parton and your boy?
Right.
Jay Mitchell did it, right? Glenn Miller's By the Time I Get to Phoenix, Ronnie and the Ramblers mashed that up. In fact, if your mommy and your daddy get divorced and either one of them play that in their respective houses, they're cheering a fight. Because why you in love? See daddy right there, see mommy right there, go be in love with them. Don't be falling in love with nobody else. That's how quality Ronnie's covers and Echoes of My Mind. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Right?
I obviously have a different take on it because we must not make the mistake of shutting down all other Bahamian artists. I'm a Bahamian artist. I have been promoting Bahamian music in France since I came out in France. I had Ophi and the websites perform with me in France. Bahamian music was playing on the radio in France, okay? But I was allowed also to play and sing the music I am inspired to play as a Bahamian. But every press article on me will say, Diana Hamilton loves her country, she talks about her country, and so on and so forth. So we must not, there are many other artists here who are Bahamian, who are not scraping and don't have to scrape.
But I think there's space for them.
And the space is there. Now, the other thing I want to say is having my career been in Europe. Okay, the last thing I was programmed for the Jazz Festival in Canada, which I didn't take at the time because...
You didn't go to the Montreal Jazz...
I was accepted, but I went to the big one in London. There's a bigger one in London, what's his name? Peter Gabriel.
Okay,
I did that one, right? When a Bahamian in Paris came out. But what is important, and I believe there are Bahamians who are abroad, is we have a different air. I know what the French like. I know what's going to kick for them, okay? They're going to love Cloyd and his band, okay? They're going to love me too. And they're going to love... I think Steiger Lee is brilliant. Like the next time I go to Paris... The
Bahamian version of Steiger Lee.
I'm going to take Steiger Lee with me because what I do is I collect songs when I go and I take them to radio stations.
But hold on, Diana, we wake in. I like the vibe, right? Because sometimes you listen into the music and the sound like they're in opposition to each other, but they're not. They're building something bigger, right? With the new National Junkanoo Authority Bill, right? Some of the provisions they provide for, like satellite offices in other jurisdictions for the purpose of promoting Junkanoo and other Bahamian festivals, right? So I appreciate exactly when. If we're going to really turn this into a tourism product, then we need Bahamians abroad in these spaces because you may find that artist that will pair perfectly with Phil Stubbs. And people say, well, oh my gosh, I didn't know that there was a French indigenous, right, musician playing folk music that sounds so similar to Phil Stubbs. And this is how we build the experiences.
What happened with the Sloop John B? Okay, it's a Bahamian song. And the Beach Boys did it.
Yeah, and there are now thousands of versions on it.
The problem is when, what was his name? Signed Bob Marley's Don't Shoot the Sheriff. Who was that?
Which one?
Marley, what's his name? The guy that made Marley famous. I Shot the Sheriff. Who was that? Who was the you all know who I mean, right?
Black or white guy?
White guy. Can only be a white guy. And what was his big guy? Very famous guitarist, singer.
Bruce, not Bruce.
No,
It's
bigger
not
than
Bruce
Bruce.
Springsteen.
Big. Anyway,
Not Willie Nelson, eh?
No, bigger.
Because who's bigger than Willie Nelson?
No,
huh?
this guy was big enough to put Bob Marley out there.
Yeah.
You want international artists to cover your. When Nina Simone
Yes,
sang
yes.
one of what's his name?
So
The guy from Cat Island, our singer.
Oh, Tony McKay.
Nina Simone sang one of his songs. Okay, when international artists begin to hear you and want to sing your song,
Now you know you've hit the big time. And you know you have quality music.
let's put it this way: you know that something you're singing is hitting,
It's resonating.
is resonating,
Yeah.
and that's what's important. We mustn't close down and think tourists. We must think about music
Now-
as communication.
Okay, I feel
and
you.
the tourists benefit.
I feel you swing the mic that way,
Swing
and
the
while you're
mic.
swinging the mic, I can say, but listen, it's only 390,045 plus 7 of us, right? Them said can't decide whether they want to be Turks or Bahamian.
But let me chime in on what she's saying, and she is right, and obviously she is passionate about what she is saying. But who's falling up? Which artist is falling up? See, when the Bahamian sound get big, in whatever city, whether it's Canada, whether it's France, whether it's in Japan, China, which Bahamian artist is going to follow up? Let me give you an example. When BET called Beanie Man to go on I think it was 106 in Park, and when he performed, he said, there's another guy in Jamaica called Sean Paul. There's another guy called Elephant Man, which opens the door for everybody else. And so my thing is, we have a lot of songs. Married to Garland is an international song. Roach on My Bread, as far as I'm concerned, me and my good friend Abby Rouse about it all the time. These these are songs that can be played anywhere in the world. So why are the artists themselves, and you can be mad, not falling up? You have to then you have to go with your music and carry music, and especially if somebody already opened the door, cracked the door. And they say, ooh, they're home with the door cracked. If someone cracked the door for you as a Bahamian artist, you now have to do
Now,
diligence
listen,
and follow.
I in a firing mode, not just firing off of the cylinder, but I ready to fire people because after Nope came out, and the commentary, the directorial commentary surrounding Nope, that should have been Ministry of Tourism should have picked up on that. We should have had a major push of Rake and Scrape forward. But let me let this gentleman get in on the conversation. Introduce yourself.
Good morning, Michael Seymour. Next to me is Jerry Roll. And myself again, Cloyd Doxson.
Morning.
Morning.
Yeah,
Well, first of all, we got to say welcome, Bahamas.
Yes.
Our 700 islands and keys.
3,000.
3,000?
Yeah, don't mind that. What we confuse the enemy. That's what we used to do.
Hello.
Children is 3,000.
Hey, I'm a fly in the world. I learn something new every day. You know what I'm saying? We are the world famous international
Flower Cake Boys.
flower cake boys. Hello.
And they bring the flower cake to prove it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
We always try.
I hope you're all married. Somebody getting married. You bring flower cake in the school.
Yeah.
Cat Island and those?
Yes.
Yes. First of all, we'd like to give a first opportunity. Thank God for waking us up this morning. Also, this lovely host who give us the opportunity, right, to speak to the nation. You know what I mean? Reggae Scrape is indigenous and Gombe, I'm in the tourism business also, taxi driver also. So I'm inside looking out. I could speak from that. Also, we all could find, we all could collaborate and talk about what's the issue. We could do that all day. But what I really like to focus and tell people is, what's the solution? You know what I mean? And it's so simple. It's very, very simple. Basically, and I can run on too long, just can pass the mic, just can give my input. When I deal with tourists every day, the first thing they ask me, what's the entertainment? Where is the culture? The same thing you're always saying. And I have to be dumbfounded because I know, but I can't really pass it on to say because I don't want to carry the blame game.
Yeah.
Now, me and Mr. Doxson, also with Diane, right? Especially when we first started, we were on a pursuit because our forefathers, our family, we are offspring of the website from Cleophas Adley, started from Samuel Webb. Okay, they all had an opportunity to go abroad, like our the gentleman over here with the sounds name again. Alpha Sounds, which is one of the biggest, and I admire you, so we would like to talk to you afterwards, but that's a plug just now. It's all right. We were so intrigued that one time we went even to the Prime Minister's office just to see him. That's how determined we is. And it ain't about the money, It's about the passion.
Right.
Yeah.
Because our forefathers passed it on to us, and we want to take it on, you know what I mean? And there's opportunity. But Rake and Scrape is really indigenous art that we want to pursue. And we love what we do, and that's about it. But I'm going to say and then I'm going to let you on, you know what I mean?
Explain you're doing the traditional from the Bombay roots.
Okay, so this is.
Me and Diana always have that this
There's back and forth.
Back and forth.
But how you said it, so you are performing the Rake and Scrape from its indigenous Gombe roots,
That's
right? So like that,
Right.
if we say that's the first starting point, is Rake and Scrape with its indigenous
Its
Gombe
Gombe
roots,
roots.
and then we allow Rake and Scrape to evolve from
Into-
that point. But remember that
Yeah, that's where Rake and
the
Scrape
original, that form is Rake and Scrape from its Gombe roots.
And that's the accordion, the goatskin drum, and the saw. So what they're doing is they're scraping, and it's okay. But I scrape when I play whatever I feel like singing. I put the saw on it in Paris. I wear an evening gown because that's my
Instrument,
trademark.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
my
yeah.
trademark is evening gown and the saw, right? But we can't honor our ancestors if we eradicate the name Gombe, because it is Gombe that takes us back to Africa. It was Gombe until Rake and Scrape was artificially inserted as the name, as Freddie Mullins Jr. said. It's Charles Carter. Okay, that saw when Edmund was doing Jumbe Village and saw them and say, what y'all calling this? And it was just music, right? But it was Gombe. All right?
got you.
And so we need to keep remembering this so that we don't
Okay, so
leave them out.
All right, so your argument is that what we're calling Rake and Scrape is actually Gombe, and that original form should be called Gombe,
Gombe.
and then we allow it to evolve
into
from there.
That's right.
Once we keep.
So I call it Gombe Rake and Scrape because to reference and connect. But what they shouldn't just say Rake and Scrape. The blues is rock and roll, but rock and roll is rock and roll. We all know it came from the blues. So
Yeah.
we need to do something with this word so that it also attaches itself to the root.
I got you. I understand. But I can be honest with you, I'm going to complicate it and make it even more steamy in here, right? Because, see, my guy, Alpha Sounds, is hosting an event, right? Called Reggae in the Park. It's coming up next weekend. And I excited. You know why I excited? I was too young to see them artists when they was performing, but I right age to see them now, right? It's Reggae in the Park.
It's
And so
even
I'm
more- I have a
thinking,
beautiful
but Erin, you
reggae
bringing
song.
on Trevor, and you're talking about Rake and Scrape and this reggae, but, see, there's a period of time in the Bahamas where you can't say reggae is not a part of the Bahamian regions,
Right.
right? Like, you cannot dissect it, you cannot extricate it, right? And then I thought, well, it's the same thing for country music too.
Well, of course.
You can't like you can't it's like sort of an artificial separation from the Bahamian experience, right? Like country music is Bahamian to us. Like that's a part of our experience, and so is Jamaican, right? And that's why I wanted to start the show with Ruben G's song, Ruben G, We Miss You. His latest album is All Things Bahamian, and his new song release is like the epitome of that, because if you heard the song at the beginning, Gimme Rake,
Right.
it's a Junkanoo sound, it's a Rake and Scrape sound. There's also like a Calypso, Byron Lee and the Dragonaires sound, right? And I say, oh, I remember Christmas. I remember growing up and Christmas was Byron Lee and the Dragonaires and Junkanoo. Those were the things you did, right? And so, Mr. Davis, right, like, how do you decide? Like, is it an era? Is it an era? Because Sister Nancy, Sister Carol, Luciano, he too young to be on stage with them, Sister Nancy and Sister Carol, right? Like, how do you identify? Because this is the raking and scraping and plot here, Diana. There's only 390,000 us.
Okay.
Where'd you get that? Well, let's
Just a loose
let's
number,
just
right?
leave it there, right?
But we got 10 million just cruise passengers come in every day, right, throughout the year.
Right.
How do we blend the Bahamian experience and the Bahamian creativity and talent, right, into this tourism product so that, like, did you know that King Harrison toured with the Neil Diamond touring band for 40 years? He is one of the, world acclaimed musicians to this day.
Yeah,
Peanuts,
what I want to say is that Bahamian artists think that they have to, pairs. Bahamian music is known. Okay, in 2 years ago, a French publishing company re-edited the Bahamas Gombe songs, 1950s. And they had press reviews, and they said George Simmons and all of them were the greatest artists. They know, when my album came out,
Your album
okay,
is good.
they referenced Ronnie
Yeah.
Butler. They know who we are. We don't know
That's
who we
it,
are.
yes.
Okay,
But
we're fighting a battle that is
Right.
not necessary.
Hold on. However, right? And I get borrow headphones so we could take this call, right? However, thank you.
Lloyd, you-
Caller, why you hang up? He's just come into the caller.
That may have been Freddie.
Yeah, please call back, sir.
Freddie, if that's Freddie Munnis Jr., please call us.
Yeah, please
so-
call back. Trevor.
I think we all want the same thing for Bahamians and Bahamian music. But most definitely, I'm of the opinion that when you're blessed with a talent, the talent is not for you, or not even for the people that surround you. It's for the whole world. And so when you go back to other cultures, when you go to reggae music, they ain't sing that for the people just in Jamaica. We love it. We Jamaicans, we proud of you. But what happens, you're now able to take that music to the four corners of the earth, and now persons are able to enjoy our music, and they want to come to the motherland to hear our music.
Yes. Exactly.
And so, as Bahamians with our music, we got to make sure our music continue to evolve, our music get to the world, and persons now start coming back to the Bahamas. Because once they come here, and they could start to connect the dots when they start to walk through our airports, or like the gentleman said, he's a taxi driver, and you start to talk about these persons are doing great things around the world. They say, wow, I didn't realize he was from the Bahamas. Can we go there? And when they say, can we go there, whether it's in the middle of the day, yes, there's a club that you could go to where we could hear some goatskin drum and we could see some Chankunu costumes and Rican scrape.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the phone line quickly.
Yeah.
Good morning, caller.
Hey, morning, Miss Greene, guess how you doing?
Good, thank you. How you do?
Hey, just three quick questions for your guest, right? One, how come Bahamian music was never able to integrate with hip hop music and blend in perfectly like reggae?
Okay, so because you just ain't heard it yet. Listen, the music,
Well,
cousin. I don't know why you wait till the music was playing to ask such an exciting question, right? Because it's there. I
think what he is asking, and what, after the break?
No, go on.
What I think he's asking is probably the same thing. Why it is that he's not seeing Bahamian artists on the international stage.
I got you.
How come they haven't been able to cross and make it happen?
I got you.
You talk about the reggae artists. Beanie Man probably have signed with every top major hip hop artist doing his tender, and he's still going.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's probably trying to say.
Yeah.
Now-
Where is our local Bahamian artists crossing up with the
But I get-
R&B artists?
When
I
we
get
come
to-
back from the break, I would say something while we're on the break.
All right, listen, we going to the break.
So-
The conversation is hot. We gotta go to the break, and I can be honest with y'all. When we come back from the break, there may be music in the studio, so don't go anywhere. We got the Flower Cake Boys channeling the spirit of Ophi and the websites, and I bet they don't know I want the whole hog when we come back from the break. We'll be right back. You're on the clock with Erin Greene. We've got Trevor Davis, Diana Hamilton, and the Flower Cake Boys, Clyde Daxon, in the studio. We'll be right back.
I was in France.
Girl, Junior just showed me Bella Boy in his phone.
What you mean? He take picture of that good for nothing boy?
Shh. Shh, you don't want Bulla hair, you say that. You know she always say that's my good child.
So what he doing in Junior phone?
Oh, he there because the police looking for him. He on their wanted list.
Wanted persons in your phone now?
Yes, child. And when police want to find anybody quick, after something happen, they can send pictures direct to your phone. Go to Google Play or App Store and search for Crack Crime Bahamas, then pick install and it will go straight to your phone.
There is also a section on missing persons.
Yes, girl. Everybody needs to get this app so police can tell us right away when these people go missing. Just like an alert system.
Yes, it has numbers for Crime Stoppers Bahamas, so you can call and nobody knows it's you. Call directly to Miami and give the information without giving your name or anything about you. I tried the other day, and when I hear Junior and his boys talking about where they hide those guns, I walk quick round the corner and call that number.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Struggling to find your financial rhythm? Make that move to Fidelity and let us help you orchestrate your financial goals into perfect harmony with free financial coaching sessions. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Get set. Track and field fans, it's that time. Time for the B3A Carifta Trials, March 20th through 22nd at the original Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. Come see the country's finest young athletes in blazing battles on the track and fierce field competition as they look to book their tickets to the 53rd Carifta Games in St. George's, Grenada on the Easter holiday weekend. Who will make the team to represent the Bahamas? Be there for the B3A Carifta Trials, March 20th through 22nd at the original Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. Competition starts at 5 p.m. on Friday, March 20th and 3 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, March 21st and 22nd. General admission, $12. Children under 12, $8. $20 VIP. 3-day passes are $34 general admission, $20 children under 12, and $58 for a 3-day VIP pass. The B3A Carifta Trials, March 20th through 22nd. Don't you miss it.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The following is a paid political message.
Kalani, Warring. Hey! Kalani, oh, the future is brighter. Oh, vote for my diver. Hey, 'cause she is a fighter. Kalani, hey, the future is brighter. Oh, if you need improvement, oh, come join the movement. Come join the movement. Hey, you're looking for change, find it here. You're looking for justice, find it here. You're looking for truth, find it here. Vote for MacGyver. She's here for you. See everybody in Kalani. Change is here. Hey, hands in the air. See everybody in Kalani. Vote for MacGyver. She is a fighter.
That was a paid political message. This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Good yawning this morning. Welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. I think that's me making all that noise in the studio. There we go. I think we better now. Okay, so we got a caller on the line. Let's go straight to the caller. I know I have text. We got one more sort of subject matter to touch on, and then we got music because these boy them didn't come all the way from Cat Island for nothing. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, let me continue with my two questions, right? One, right? How come Bahamians, right, for some street Bahamian musicians in particular, right, die, broke, busted, and can't be trusted? Really the fact that we don't have the population
That's
in
part
order to survive
Hold on.
within.
That's a part of it. A part of it is that we haven't built up the mechanisms for compensation in the same way that artists receive royalties. We're still working out the kinks with the existing mechanisms in the country. But it's partially because of our size. Listen, Walmart will not ever open a store in the Bahamas because there's not enough of us across the entire archipelago, right? That's the economics of the world. So the thing I think that will push Bahamian music forward is this. But you want to throw in your second question shortly, Corey, or that was it?
No, one more, two things.
One thing.
Walmart can come here. And secondly, who is the greatest Bahamian musician in your view of all time?
Okay, I like that one. Okay, who's the greatest musician of all time? Now, let's to the how are we going to get this music out here? Well, here's the first problem. Y'all ain't got no catalog of your music. You can't find the music.
Exactly.
You're on the radio, but you don't have a music video. It's 2026. I's old people cheering. I like the radio, right? But you got to have a video. Even if it's just an album cover and the music playing in the background, you got to put your music out there because people are looking for you. They're looking for Bahamian music, but they can't find you out there. So that's one of the biggest problems is when I'm doing research for the show, I can't find the songs to play on air.
Exactly.
Second thing. Go on, Chloe.
And the biggest one of the biggest problems we have here too in the country, we are too selfish with whatever we have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who we are saving it for, because we can die and leave it here.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not trying to pass it on to nobody else, not even your kids.
Mm-hmm.
We hold it there for ourselves.
Go on, Trevor.
This is what I've been waiting for the last 25 years, for a musician, a Bahamian musician, to say exactly what he just said. Bahamian musicians and artists and songwriters are selfish.
Mm-hmm.
We have some of the best writers in this country.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to write for this person. They don't want to write for that person. You can't come in my studio.
That's right, and I will go with that.
Catalog sell. And I hate to go back to Beanie Man or BG or one of or Barris that's was here the other day. These fellas get hundreds and hundreds of songs.
Yeah.
And when my good personal friend Ronnie Butler was living, I don't care what nobody say, he on every one of my shows. You know why? Because he had the catalog.
Yeah, he could find a song for the occasion.
And so now here it is, the artists, and don't be offended, because I tell them this to their face.
Yeah.
When you're singing a new song, I done wrote a brew for the last 4 years. To me, top notch. KB could go on a stage anywhere in this world and perform. I've seen it.
Listen, let's not ever forget Josiah Kinloch. Josiah Kinloch, Bahamian musician, was between Cuba and Germany. Josiah Kinloch is the most winningest non-Cuban Grammy Award winner. Right? Huge guy. He played with the Wailers, even. Right? We don't know. I can't find the music. I can't find it. So, as we go into the performance, because these boy them the song.
And I'm going to plug in for Diana Hamilton, who can play on stage and whose music is appreciated, but isn't played here because they don't
Where can
consider
we
my
find
music. This is coming out.
A Bahamian trilogy.
It's coming out in about less than a month.
All right. Under my Bahamian flag, Nation, No Migrants. 3 songs of a Bahamian trilogy.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all gentlemen, get ready to play the music. I got to send a shout out to this small crew. It's a small team of people called Mic Check. Micheck. Those are the guys with the red mic. They drop the red mic everywhere, right?
Yes, that's trending.
Yeah.
The young people say. But so it's stuff like that where persons from around the world will start to see, and they're going to start gravitate to and start to get the music. But again, you have to have that catalog.
Yeah.
And have the visa and be ready to go when they get you.
That's it. Be prepared to be able to jump on the flight. That's why I say you can't be on the road wearing slippers. How you going to move to the airport when you get the call, come perform?
Another way is, groups like Pink Lemonade and lots of other groups, right? France is a really good starting ground. If they love your music, you're going to go international, right?
I got you.
Every time I go to France, I take music with me to give to radio stations. I have not yet heard one artist come back and say, hey, Dee, we performing, would you like to do a song? They're not generous.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
If we don't build together, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, and what is also important too, while they get ready to start up, what is also important too, Bahamian artists have to now start having managers that has the international reach, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of the bookings and a lot of the people, when I put a flyer out, say Alpha Sound event, I get a call from just about everywhere in the world. I see you have this concert, do you have space for my artists?
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, people that's willing to send their artists down there for free, that's to perform.
Yeah.
And so, as Bahamians, we need to be able to identify these events around the world, get on the phone with your manager, your publisher, and say, man, get me on that by any means necessary,
Yeah.
even if I have to pay my own way to get there.
Absolutely. Now, you guys start speaking and then start playing.
Yes. Could I ask you one thing?
Yeah.
Could we leave our number on the air?
Yes.
All right. 443-3892. WhatsApp us, please. 443-392. 443-389. Sorry, I'm getting nervous. 443-3892. I'm excited.
And that's the Flower Cake Boy.
Flower Cake Boy. Just call us, and then, because, we can't be putting no advertisement on the radio.
Yeah, but
right, but call
if
us.
you need some flower cake at your wedding, call the Flower Cake Boy.
And
I like that.
I also need to say that Cloyd Daxon is an active member in the Cat Island Accordion and French Camp, that he is one of the key figures who's passing it on to the young people.
Absolutely. This is the whole hog. You see, I want the Mic Check crew to be able to go to the Family Island festivals and capture the sound on stage so that we could share it, not just with the world, but with our young people and with our older people who had to migrate from their Family Island to the capital so they could hear that down-home sound. I want the whole hog so I can let y'all hear the whole hog.
Piece of meat. You know that pork is sweet. Don't want no tail, no leg. Another butcher scared. I went to the farmer's market to buy myself a hog. Then meet the butcher, he was on the door. They come on over, Opie, come on, have a feast. I get up every cut of pork that you want to.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.